Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And you know, the Loving Life channel has been accused of setting out or sending out fake news in the past, and where we get something wrong, which does happen, we do get things wrong surprisingly, but where we do, we either take off the video or we clarify with the following video. So that's how we cover our tracks and make sure people know the facts. And this is why I'm bringing out this video, because there's a huge amount of confusion now about this BBEE or triple BEE, whatever you want to call it, policy involved in the funding of SMMEs after or followed during this lockdown by the government funding. And the document that came out suggested that unless you had 51% black ownership in the company, you can go and play with yourself, because you're not going to get any help at all from the government. And of course, what happened was the government department involved in this immediately denied ever considering such a thing, but with a clarification. So just to put this whole issue to bed, this is what's happening, guys. It's really interesting because Eyewitness News, who's this guy? The South African, the Citizen paper, all came out saying this is fake news. There's no way the government is going to put this condition that 51% ownership of black-owned companies are the only recipients to getting part of this pot of money to help them through this hard time. And it was quite extraordinary because, of course, they were pointing fingers at social media and news channels like mine saying, they're just putting out fake news. And I'll give you a couple of comments from the actual articles. The Citizen, for example, said, numerous people and groups, including Afriforum, have already launched a campaign against the racist policy, but government advises that it is fake news. The government website set up to provide relief for small to medium-sized and micro businesses went live on Tuesday morning, and many applicants claim to have run into the previously unpublicized requirement that in order to be granted state assistance, a business would need to be majority black-owned. And then it goes on to say, however, the Department of Small Business Development spokesperson Sarah Mokwebo confirmed to the Citizen on Tuesday morning that this was fake information or fake news. And then, in an update, Minister of Small Business Development Kumbudzu Nchaveni at Tuesday's interministerial briefing also confirmed it was fake news, adding that all businesses would be considered, though demographic and provincial factors would play a role. It has also subsequently become clear that the document causing the confusion was drafted by an official in the department, but was a draft and should not have been publicly circulated. So that's where it all changes. It's no longer fake news. This was drafted by the department and it leaked out. Not our fault it leaked out. This was an official small business development document that leaked out. So guess who was guilty of fake news here? It wasn't the social media. It was the Citizen paper. It was the South African, and it was the Eyewitness News, who all ran off and claimed that, social media again was putting out fake news. Well, they weren't. Let me show you Afriforum's response to this. Okay, the only one that seems to have got it right was My Broadband, who have an article headed, Our Money Will Be Available to All South African Businesses, Johan Rupert. And that's actually relating to their money going into a solidarity fund, not into the small business fund. And the key comment that is made here in this article, which I actually published in a video earlier tonight, so it's already out there. But the key comment is that the document stated that for an SMME to qualify for relief, it must be 51% black owned. The Department of Small Business Development highlighted this was a draft document from a week ago and was still under revision. And then they said it was not meant to be shared with the public. Well, the condition should not have been in there in the first place, which brings me to the actual information that's coming out about this particular funding support. Okay, I'm going to read to you from Business Tech, and I will kind of highlight the crucial point in this article. President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced a 3-week lockdown with severe restrictions on travel and movement. To assist business during this difficult time, the Department of Small Business Development has launched a debt relief fund to help mitigate the impact of the economic shutdown caused by the coronavirus on small, micro, and medium enterprises, or SMMEs. The fund is aimed at providing relief on existing debts and repayments, said Small Business Minister Khumbudzo Ntshavheni. Ntshavheni said, for SMMEs to be eligible for assistance under the Debt Relief Fund, the applicant must demonstrate the direct link of the impact of the potential impact of COVID-19 on the business operations. He said the facility will also assist entities to acquire raw materials, pay labor, and operational costs. All these interventions will be structured to match the patterns of the SMME's cash flows, as well as the extent of the impact suffered. To qualify for access to the fund, businesses will be required to register on the SMME South African platform. Now, I've actually tried right through the evening to get into that website, and it's down. Obviously, there's so many people trying to connect with it, it's come down. So it's about as useful as a piece of shit in the garden. You know, it's just completely hopeless. But some of the details that have come to light, which companies are required to share when you actually go to this website, when you can get on, if you can ever get on, these are details that you need to supply. Annual turnover, shareholders, including current black economic empowerment standing. Why would that be in this online document that you have to complete if it wasn't going to have a role to play in who gets money and who doesn't? It kind of works really well with the suggestion that it's only people who got a 51% black equity in their company that are going to get any benefits at all. That's the crucial one. That's in the official online document that you've got to complete. I'll just repeat it. Shareholders, including current BEE standing. As I said, why have that in there if it's not going to play any part? And the other things they need is number of employees, employee demographics, and subsectors. And it goes on to say in this article, in future, the database will also be used to apply for both financial and non-financial support, access information about business opportunities, and access market opportunities, Ntshavheni said. Alongside the new fund, Ntshavheni said her department will also launch a business growth resilience facility, which has been specifically created to enable continued participation of SMMEs in supply value chains, particularly those which manufacture or supply items which are in demand during the pandemic. Well, if they're in demand during the pandemic, they shouldn't have a problem financially, should they? The facility will offer working capital, stock, bridging finance, order finance, and equipment finance. An amount required will be based on the funding needs of the business, Ntshavheni said. So, just in conclusion, President Ramaphosa said the government will put measures in place to assist local businesses which will be negatively affected by the restrictions implemented during the lockdown. Money will be spent to save lives and to help businesses survive, and Ramaphosa noted that the Rupert and Oppenheimer families have each donated 1 billion rand to the cause. Ramaphosa said, Hippo Eyes said, we call on a large business in particular to take care of their employees. I wonder if the companies that he has got a large shareholding in, I'm talking about the president, are doing this. It would be very interesting to have a look into that. 200 million rand will also be made available to small and medium businesses in the tourism sector who have been hit hard by travel restrictions, he said. Now, quite honestly, that is a drop in the ocean. When you look at the hundreds of thousands of businesses that will be absolutely decimated by this lockdown, it works out to something like 2,000 rand if you're lucky each. That's it, 2,000 rand for 3 weeks being without work. That's what, 666 rand approximately per week. That's about $35 per week. That doesn't cut it, I'm afraid. All right, guys, so I hope this clarifies the situation with regard to this fake news and what's not fake news and stuff like that. Clearly, we can confirm that that comment about 51% black ownership was in a document which was kind of let out, like happens a lot in South Africa, doesn't it? So, and the other thing we can confirm is that if you try and register to get money online, they're going to be asking about your BEE status. As I said before, why would they be doing that if black economic empowerment and there's 51% black ownership of companies wasn't a condition of handy out money? Something stinks here very badly. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe.